So this is what the finished product looks like. It's mainly based on tomatoes, and then we add in some fresh cucumber, some onion, some red bell pepper, some garlic, and then some tomato juice, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, this dish originates in Spain, and it is a summertime soup. It's not something you make in the wintertime because you can't get the fresh ingredients like this in the wintertime. So always use really fresh tomatoes when you do this. Something Joseph's not going to eat, obviously, because it has vegetables in it. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to do this right now. So these are the ingredients we need to get started. Obviously, we're going to need some tomatoes. We've got about 8 Roma tomatoes. These are going to be seeded and cored. So we can use the fleshy part of that. We're going to need a red onion. I'm not going to use the whole onion. That's kind of a big onion. A red bell pepper. If you can't find a red bell pepper, green will work. They just call for using red bell pepper just so the colors will kind of be consistent. We're going to need some garlic. It's going to get minced up. Optional, a little bit of lime juice, freshly squeezed lime juice. An English cucumber that's going to be seeded. And then a little extra virgin olive oil. Some tomato juice, not V8 juice, but just plain tomato juice. A little bit of white wine vinegar. Pepper. Salt. And that's it. So let's get started. First thing to do with the tomatoes, we want to seed them and core them. So I'm just cutting off the top portion. And then we want to get the core and the seeds out of there. And I'm actually going to, you can use a spoon or a knife. I'm going to use a grapefruit spoon actually, just to get down in there. And go around all the sides. So that we get the seeds and the core out together. Like that. So there's the core gone. And then I'm just going to give it a squeeze. Get the rest of those seeds out. Looks pretty good. So then we're just going to roughly cut this up into small pieces and into the food processor, because all these are going to get chopped. So just rough pieces here. They don't have to be neat or pretty. Like such. You get the goody part off of this because that's perfectly usable there. Then repeat with the rest of the tomatoes so we can process them. Alright, that's half of my tomatoes in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to process those, then I'll do the other half. I'm going to go ahead and throw my garlic in here too because it's got to get minced up. Now this first half I'm going to process pretty finely, something close to a puree basically. The other half I want to leave a little bit chunky so we get some texture in with the gazpacho. So we're going to give this a spin. Yeah, that looks good. So this will go into the bowl. Then we do our next 4 tomatoes, and then we'll move on to the other veggies. Alright, next up is the red onion. Now I've got all the tomatoes done. They're in the big bowl over there. I'm not going to use this whole red onion because this onion is kind of strong, and I don't want onion to be the predominant flavor in my gazpacho, so I'm going to use half of this. And I'm just going to cut it into some chunks, put it in the food processor, do it just like we did the tomatoes. So there, that'll work. All right, next up, the cucumber, English style cucumber. And to peel or not to peel, some recipes say to peel them, some don't. What I do is take a little sample and taste it. Some cucumbers, the peeling on it is really, really bitter. So cut yourself a little slice and taste it. This is not bitter at all. So I can leave the peeling on here. It'll be fine. It's actually pretty good. So, cut it in half. And then, if it's got a lot of seeds in it, you want to get the seeds out. Again, use a spoon or a knife. This actually doesn't have very many at all. We're just going to remove that, just going down the center. Like such. So that we get all those seeds out of the middle. Tell you what, this grapefruit spoon works wonders between coring the tomatoes and getting the seeds out of the cucumber. It's a brilliant idea. I'm glad I thought of that. Alright, so the cucumbers, now got the seeds out, cut them into chunks. And then they're going to go in the food processor. Then we'll do the red pepper. Throw those in there. Like such. Get the onion out of the way. And the pepper. You can use one or two peppers. That's up to you. I just happen to have one on hand, so that's what I'm going with. Cut the top out. Oh, this has a little surprise inside. Wow. And here again, we're going to make sure it's seeded and cored. We want to get rid of the white membrane part of this. We want to get the seeds out because the seeds are a little tough to kind of crunch down on. So just take your knife and kind of cut down like that and get that white membrane out. Then cut these up into the food processor along with everything else like such. Alright, we'll finish that up and then we'll start putting everything together. Alright, so I've got the onions, the cucumber, the red bell pepper, and there I'm going to add in juice of one lime. It's a small lime. If you got a big lime, maybe do half. But this is a pretty small lime, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that in there too. So that's done. Put the lid back on this and give it a go. Like such. So you'll notice here, if I can move the camera closer, I did not puree. This has still got bits and chunks, things like that. Some people like their gazpacho pureed down into like a very smooth, almost like a smoothie, a vegetable smoothie. I like bits and pieces in mine so I can taste the different flavors. So that's why I do mine like this. If you want yours nice and smooth, stick it on there and just turn it on full and, you know, go for it. So this is going to get added to the bowl with the tomatoes, and then we'll add in our other ingredients and we'll be done. Time to add in our remaining ingredients. So I'm going to need a quarter cup of good extra virgin olive oil. Then a quarter cup of the white wine vinegar. You can use red wine vinegar if you want to, that'll be fine. If I can get the lid off of this. Maybe not. We'll come back to that in a minute. 3 cups of tomato juice. And then we're going to tackle the vinegar. Now we're adding the vinegar. So quarter cup of the vinegar. And we're going to give all this a good stir. We need a little bit of salt. I can add more later if I need to. A little bit of black pepper. A little bit more. And then I'm going to taste it for seasoning and see if I need more salt or more pepper to it. Well, that's perfect. So now we're going to cover it up, stick it in the refrigerator for an hour or so. Let it chill, the flavors will all kind of mix together, and then it'll be ready for eating. So a couple of hours later, here's what we've got. Nice chilled soup, nice and refreshing. I'm going to put a little bit of, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of some chopped up basil on top of that. And then it's ready to go. So it's a nice, very cool summertime soup. When you don't want to heat up the house, made with all fresh ingredients, fresh tomatoes, fresh cucumber, fresh bell pepper, fresh onion, all that. Nothing canned or processed. So something you can make, Carla, for your family on those really hot days when you don't want to heat up the kitchen cooking something. Give this a try.